Good morning, all of you. This will be last day, I think, Friday. So we will finish off few set of numericals I picked up. So just make observation. So and you check the overall the current city. Regular class, I almost did around 150 numericals. You check the ebook which I uploaded. Now Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, altogether around 65 numericals will come. So 150, 265, 220 best numericals with theory, everything is available. Even if you just remember what I thought will be sufficient for most of the exams. That much is what I'm having confidence in what I'm putting in front of you. So how well you digest things and after learning, how well you apply it left to you. I think there's a limit what a teacher can do. And beside that, you have assignments, you have textbook, you have icons. So what all you learned from your side. So how much you can digest and how you can utilize. I think that matters a lot. So please put effort on today. No, today you should put effort for the revision. So evening, I suggest you like how much you learned. Okay, learn, leave it, that one. But what you learned now, okay, don't go for new thing. What you learned, recollect all the things. Recollect all the things like all systematic recollection, formulas, where all formulas are there, formulas, everything, methods, everything recollect and go to the exam and do apply. I think that's what the necessity of the exam. No, now again, tomorrow Saturday, tomorrow morning, if you get up and start working few numericals, no, there's no guarantee that that numerical will come. But if you recollect what all you learned, that will benefit you in exam. So today evening, I suggest you like the effort should be on recollecting things, not on working numericals. That's what I feel. If you are very confident, everything you are fine, everything you know, recollected, no, then okay, work out different numericals. But what you studied, if you have forgot, definitely what happened, you should recollect. There is a golden rule. Please do follow. Let's start with this problem. We have to find out the effective resistance RAB. So let me take the points here. P and Q. So what about the, or say 192 will write it, symbol. What is the potential at 192? Should be zero, no? Also will be equal. So if you go for the current distribution, and I'll take separate diagram. To be easy. Let's get into. So current year, I will take some contrast. Let me take some contrast color, visibility. Okay, no. So let I be the current. Then what do we get here? Say like a current will be I1, I2, I1. Then here let it be I3. Here it will be I3. So again that current will branch. No doubt the current will branch here. So if you look at this, the potential at P and Q should be equal because VP minus VA minus VP should be equal to VA minus VQ. Let this be 0.0. Let there be the 0.0 that one. So from what is the observation? So what are the equations we can write? VA minus VP is equal to VA minus VQ. So therefore VP equal to VQ. If VP equal to VQ, So shall we put they are at same potential? There's a one more condition. Then what will happen to this current? Again, one more, few more things are there. This current I3 will further branch I4, I5. This will be I4. This will be I5. This will be I3. Here. And this will be I2. So in fact, potential at POQ will be same. So you can remove those two resistives. Then P what will happen? It's just only an electrical junction. Sorry, it's only physical junction. It's not an electrical junction. The point P and Q. So after removing all this, so what is the one more comment? Potential at P, Q equal to O. I4, I5. Okay, no, huh? This is this much. So even this also happens. And further one more, P and Q are only physical junction. Okay, let's redraw this circuit. The circuit, everything will appear. And even this resistor also can be removed. Even this resistor also will be eliminated. If you remove that, I think it will become total a simple series parallel circuit. Now even this, you can see now total series parallel. You can find out the effective version. So you do that calculation later on. I'll go for the next idea. But we don't have such a discussion in advanced papers till now. You know what all we got questions in advance? No way. They didn't ask questions of this kind. Just learning purpose, you can keep it. Weekend exam may ask. I'm very particular. Definitely 2-3 questions you may get of equivalent networks. Don't take risk of working more numericals. Again, recollect all other ideas only. I think this is quite clear. No, again the same previous problem only. Or this P and Q is what?
So can you scroll up once?
Okay, fine.
Thank you, sir.
Now look at again P and Q are only physical junction, not electrical junction. So removing that, P and Q are only physical junction. So therefore current will not current will not branch at P and Q. So the whole circuit again will be similar to, if they go for, they may ask questions of these kind of some simplicity. I think both are same problems, huh? Both previous one and this one are the same set of questions. Again, you see some series parallel and you can solve it. Select some few questions and analyze them. That's all. Next one. You have to find out equivalent resistance between the terminals A and B. All are having resistance 1 ohm. I'll draw it. What is there in this one? Yeah. No. This is the thing. So I think that the circuit is only this much, I feel. What about all other resistances? Okay, they got simplified. So actually, you look at this. There's a 1 ohm, 1 ohm will become 2 ohm. 2 ohm will become parallel to 1 ohm. So that will be 2 by 3 ohm. So resistance of this will be how much? 2 by 3. This is 1 ohm. This is 1. This is 1. This is 1. So this will be 2 by 3. This will be 2 by 3. I'm just writing only values. The symbol unit should be there. Again, what is this O? O is just A and Y. It is. It's the same old story, no? So O is just only a physical junction, not electrical junction. Current will not branch. So what we are going to do is we'll just remove the junction. Will in series parallel solve it to get the required answer. I think that this is what the circuit, the whole circuit is only this much. We have to find out the effective resistance between point A and B. So these things are what, like these are only there's a thing. No? There's a just here telling L by 2, L by 2. They're having resistance per unit area of cross section is rho. The resistance between A and B. Rho L by 2 will become, see, rho by, what is the meaning of that? Yes, defined like this. R is equal to rho by A, rho dash by A into, say, X, that one, length. Rho dash by A is calling rho. So what is the length of this will be rho L by 2, resistance of this rho L by 2. So let it be everything R. Then you should calculate the length of this. This will be R root 2 R. This is root 2 R. No effective relation between A and B has to be calculated. So that let me take points 1, 2, 3, 4. Potential at 192. So what all the current that enters here, it will branch equally. Then potential at 192 will be same. So V1 equal to V2. Similarly, V1 equal to V2 with respect to A. Similarly, V3 equal to V4 with respect to B. And any resistor connected across equipotential points should be removed. So the next part of the circuit will be such ideas can be asked. So don't say that they will never ask. Such ideas can be asked. A simple. No. So this resistor is what I should remove, no? So again, what will end up with simple series parallel only. This is R 2R parallel to root 2R. Calculate that effective resistance that will be added to R. So this side resistance, how much it will be? 2R plus 2R root 2R by this one. Let me write here. Resistance of upper side RA 13B. This should be equal to 2R. I'll come in order, you see it. 2R root 2R, 2R plus root 2R plus R. And this should be equal to R, A, 2, 4, and B. What is one R is equal to? What we assumed R? R should be equal to rho L by 2. Can you do calculation? I'll go take the next idea. Read the question now. Can you apply Wheatstone network? Can we apply the Wheatstone network here? Please mute, ma, mute. What is this? Huh? Okay, no. Can you apply Wheatstone network? P and Q, C and D. So shall we do one thing? We'll go for applying Wheatstone network because there are more than 4 resistors are there. So shall we remove these 2 resistors because a ratio of these 2. So I think it's not like that, no. So if you see this, this is 2 ohm. So ratio of these 2 or 4 by 4 and 2 by 4. So we can't do this. We can't remove. And the similar situation arises here. Even if this were 4 ohm, you can't remove. So I think that there should be some minimum of the rules is what you have to follow. Like whatever you think is not a rule, sir. Even if this were 4 ohm, you can't remove. You can't remove because these are being connected. No, fine. This is so. I think in one of the mains exam, intentionally the teacher has given 4 ohm, 4 ohm. Most of students they removed it. Then they removed this. Then they said, okay, the 4 ohm, 4 ohm, 8 ohm, 8 ohm. Answer is 4 ohm. He has given none option because you should not solve. Logically may happen in mains. Tomorrow mains also they may test you because do you know ideas properly or not? The teacher didn't bother to check your final answer. Like, can you apply Visual network or not? Any logical way of testing can be involved here. So there's nothing called like a Visual network here. Fine. So then what is the next alternative method available? Series parallel. Can we say anything series parallel? That is ruled out. Then what is the alternative left over? Branch current method. So you should assume a current I1, I1, I2, then dividing current. So very complicated. Next again, loop current 1, 2, 3, 4. You are going to connect a battery 5. Five loops are there. So nodal analysis is the only alternative available. Already we defined the potentials, this one. So what we for what is this? Especially girls, huh? Today what happened? Trisha, Lear, Vari Vaishya. Huh? You can't disturb class like this, no? No, it's a to make problem. Instead of bringing so many unknowns, no, just you can. We have connected a cell. Let's assume that one. So let this be 10 node. You can take even lower values. So even you can write 2 volt. If you take 20 volt, okay, the larger values will come. So don't take 200, 300, that one. So you start with 2 volt or some decimal places will come. So it's advisable. Don't take higher values 80, 70. Higher large values you have to multiply, divide. Don't take 2 volt because 2.3, 2.8 again decimal places you have to carry on. You should be very careful in exam. Okay, this if it is like this, so this will be 0 volt. This will be plus 10 volt. I think this voltage is P, D, Q, C. Then so what next? You have to just keep on apply the nodal analysis here. So I'll start like this. So I'll start with VC. VC minus 10 by 2. I don't know which direction current will enter and will leave. So how many are there? C, P, Q, D. 3 unknowns are there. 4 unknowns are there. 4 equations minimum. We have to write it. And then similarly, VP minus 10 by 4. Already VP over, no? VP minus 10, VP minus C, VP minus VD by 4 equal to 0. This is the thing. So let's come for Q. VQ minus VC by 4. VQ minus VP by 4. VQ minus 0. Okay, this is 0, no? By 4 equal to last VD is there. So VD minus VP by 4. How many unknowns are there? Four equations, 4 unknown. In exams, that's what you should do, no? Here. So with this, what happen? We'll get the potentials. That one. After getting potential, you are going to get the current in all the branches. So we'll push that current. that current is sent by this cell. Okay, that one. So calculate this directly, this current I. Then what is the effective resistance RAB? RAB should be equal to 10 by I. Will be very lengthy. That definitely solving this. Even branch current also the same thing. More unknowns are 6 unknowns will come. Loop current, 5 unknowns will come. Node analysis, four unknowns will be there. What is the light bulbs marked 40 watt 110 volt? So what is the resistance of each bulb? I think these are bulbs. Huh? It's a bulb. So what is the resistance of the bulb? So what is the P power rating? PM should be equal to voltage rating by resistance. So we know power rating how much 40. 110 whole square by R. So what is R equal to 110 into 110 by 40.
302.5.
30 302.5.
Sir, what is the answer for the previous question, sir?
You have to solve it.
40 by 9.
I'm getting 9 by 4, sir.
Check calculations. No, it's only your mathematics. Okay, this one, anybody? R?
302.5.
I could not hear.
Correct only, sir. 302.
Correct only. Okay, this much. Okay, these are rations are there. And then, what is the maximum number of bulbs that can be played in parallel before the fuse blows here? How to manage? So what is the maximum permitted current? 10 ampere. Okay, let's see that. The bulbs connected to voltage source of 110 volt. What is the meaning of this? See, first you try to understand. So there is a there's a fuse is there. The fuse will be there always. Huh? First, let me connect only one bulb. 110 volt. The resistance of fuse you can neglect. Usually it will be very small. Then what is the current that will flow here? No, I1 equal to 110 by R. So R equal to 110. So this will be 44 by 11 ampere. I think this is very much less than 10 ampere. No. So then what I do, I'll bring two bulbs. You see what will happen as you increase number of bulbs is what if you can grasp it, problem is over.
27 bulbs.
So what is the current now? So current is I2. So I2 should be equal to 110 by R by 2. So 2 into 110 by R. I think 110 by R is what? 4 by 11 ampere. So this will be 8 by 11 ampere. So as you bring number of bulbs, as you connect them at parallel here, the current through the fuse will increase. That is what, no, if you bring 3, R by 3 will come R by 4. So therefore, when n number of bulbs are connected, say in exam, even if a new idea comes, no, try to analyze. There's an nth bulb. 1, 2, 3. What is the maximum permitted current here? This is I. That value is what? 10 ampere is given. 110 volt. Resistance of all bulb is R. So therefore, what should be the I should write? This I should be equal to 110 by R by N. Now, what is value of R? Okay, you only can take help of this one. N into 110, R will be 110 whole square by 40. So value of N will be 40.
4n by 11.
So we know value of I. I is how much? 10. N is equal to 40, 110 by 4. Anybody value?
27.5.
How much?
27.5.
27.5. Okay, how many bulbs?
27.
27 bulbs you can connect. Very popular, can be asked. In books, we have very less discussion on such things. So while you are connecting, I think like this, you cannot connect any number of bulbs. There's some limit. If you 28 bulbs, if you connect, what is the problem? The current through the fuse will be more than 10 ampere, it will burn out. Bulbs will be safe. The fuse will burn out. What is the cost of fuse? Maybe 5 rupees at the most maximum. Like this is what the equipment will be protected here. Next, if I connect series, any changes will come?
Resistance will increase.
Resistance will increase and current in fact will decrease, no? So no problem that is. So when you connect parallel only, limit will come. When you connect them in series, there is no limit will be there. Fine. Small idea, finish short. This is. I'll read the next question. In between, I'm teaching notes, so don't add chorus. Just listen. Some doubt or somewhere controversy is there, you can come into picture. Let only teacher talk. No, you directly draw the circuit. It'll be easy for you to analyze. So first, there are two bulbs are there. It is so first 100 watt, 200 volts square. Okay, first 25 watt. No, the bulb A, bulb 1 will take it. This R1. Similarly, other is wattage equal to and 200 square by R2. Now R1 and R2 we are going to calculate. So R1 will be 400 by, anybody value?
R1 is
1600, 400.
2600.
1600.
1600 and 400.
Okay, now we have resistance connected in series across a 440 volt supply. Even advanced, we do have questions of these bulbs. You check it, advanced paper. Then which particular bulb will fuse? So this is R1, this R2. We know resistance, so go for potential divider formula. V1 equal to 440 R1 by R1 plus R2. 440 R1 is 1600 by 1600 plus 400. 440 into 16 by 20 or it'll be this much. 44 into 8. Anybody value?
352.
352. So how much V2 should be the remaining of that?
$88.
Which bulb will fuse? What is the maximum permitted voltage? Maximum permitted voltage across each bulb should be 200 volt only. But what is V1? In fact, V1, what we are getting is V1 is greater than V max. This is what Vmax. Huh? And what is V2? Less than Vm. So which bulb is? Okay, now let's analyze what actually. Okay, this is V2 equal to. Let me try to comment on this data. No, V1 greater than Vm. So bulb will fuse is telling. What do you mean by fuse? Will burn out. Bulb 1, bulb R1 will burn out or fuses. Once it burns out, what will happen to it? It become open circuit. Am I right? So I think if it becomes short circuit, see, like if you replace this bulb which has burnt out by short circuit, then what happen? 440 volt, the drop across this will become 440 volt. Then this will also burn out. But what actually happens is like we'll get in a situation of like this. This is an open circuit. Bulb is there, bulb 1 is there, it's an open circuit. Now what is the brightness of this bulb? I'll test you with questions like this. The moment I switch on, this will fuse, this will burn out. Then what happened to this? This will not burn out, but it will not glow because open circuit. I seen students, okay, till here mathematics, okay. What actually happens after burning out? This will not glow, open circuit, no? So once the moment circuit is switched on, the brightness of both the bulbs will become 0. What students will think only this will burn out, this will glow as it is, not possible. This will burn out, this will be safe. So I should write word safe. Safe and will not glow because no open circuit is there here. Burnout means what happens? You should replace with an open circuit. So burnout bulb must be replaced with open circuit. This idea is very important. Read the question. A galvanometer has a resistance 90 ohm and full scale deflection current is 10 milliampere. So we do have a galvanometer. Zero, 5 milliampere, maximum 10 milliampere. And this is 90 ohm. In 9 and 10 ohm resistance is connected in series with galvanometer. To make a voltmeter, what is the Vmax? We'll calculate. Vmax will become equal to, here only let me do it. Ig into G plus Ig into Rs. The basic theory of galvanometer is what we are using. Ig is how much? 10 into 10 to power of minus 3 into 90, 10 into 10 to power of minus 3 into 910. 910 into 90 will be 1000. 1000, so this will be how much? 10 volt is what it can measure. If the least count of the voltmeter is 0.1 volt, how many divisions it must have?
100.
So something is least count. What is the division? So it should be like this: 0.10 volt is there. So then 1 volt should be divided into. I think I have to draw a big scale. Huh? Further, this is 1, 0. Okay, now you can go for it. 0.1, 0.2, 3, 0.5, 0.6, 7, 8, 9. This is what thing. This is the least count. The spacing between two lines is what will be the least count, no? So maximum how much we have? 10 volt. So that there should be 2 volt, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So how many divisions? 100 divisions should be there. So number of divisions should be. When you are constructing voltmeters, no, you do come across situations of this kind. How many divisions you have to make it? What is the least count? All that matters here. It's not that easy. Earlier, what 10 milliampere. Okay, that if if divisions were there like in 1 milliampere, again the least count of the galvanometer was 0.1 milliampere. It was fine. Otherwise, you have to read all the scale, all things. So any questions can be asked of this kind. Huh? Be alert. Look at this question. Read once. He has not given much of the information. So still it is justified. What is the biggest problem? Is not saying anything about the cell, no? A cell should be ideal or not ideal. No, it's a practical or ideal cell. He didn't mention, but the way he has given data with that, we should assume. I think it should be non-ideal. Huh? Cell should be a practical one. I'll begin like this. This is the voltmeter. First it will read VA, will write it. First step. We don't know this EMF. We don't know internal resistance. And first value, he has given R2. Let the reading be VA. And this is how much? 0.75 volt. And let the current, let it be IA. E and R will remain as it is. So first looking at this, can you shall we write 0.75 reading of voltmeter should be equal to E minus IA into R. Okay, this 0.75 volt will also drop across these resistors. So this, what we can write, 0.75 is equal to. Voltmeter is ideal. Huh? So what all that current, it will flow like this. Make a rule like this. Indicate all the things. Huh? It will be easier. So this should also be equal to IA into R. RA, I'll write it. Huh? So we know IA, substituting this, I'll call this as IA, I'll replace here, no. So this will be RA is how much 2, no? So 0.75 by 2 into R. Keep it here, call this equation 1. Similarly, we'll go for second situation. In the second part of the circuit, same voltmeter, it's ideal. Now he is going to connect a resistance 4 ohm across the same cell. Let the current be IB. Reading of this voltmeter is 0.9 volt. So this will be 0.9 equal to E minus IB into R, where this 0.9 should be equal to IB into RB. 0.9. What is RB value? 4 ohm. No? Solving this, I'll get EMF of cell E and R. Next, what is telling? I think 3 ohm. Second case, 3 ohm it is. Solving this, I'll get E and R. So third situation, I'm going to connect the same voltmeter. Voltmeter has not changed, just I'm writing VC because reading will be different. So now the resistance will be 4 ohm. So what about this reading and what about this current is asking these two values. So again the what is VC? VC should be equal to minus EC into ICR, and VC should be also equal to IC into RC. R is how much given? 4 ohm. I know value. So I know value of E and R from equation 1 and 2. Solving 1 and 2 will get E and small r. I'll substitute here. Then what are unknown things? VC and IC are unknown thing. Or let me put this one. So this will be VC by 4 into R. So VC I'll get, from VC I'll get IC. Solve 1 and 2. Can be, the question appears very simple. The only thing is, you need not to mention, but sir, like in exams, definitely a student will ask, like he didn't say it's an ideal or practical one. Tell me, I think looking at the voltmeter, if it were ideal, what would happen? The reading of voltmeter would have been same in all cases, no? You be careful about the, whenever a cell comes, no? Try to look at the conditions given in the circuit. With that, what happened, you can check whether it's ideal or practical one. It's there in assignment. You can verify the values. I'll go for next one. Read the question. I'll set the things. Okay, there's a diagram I'm having. Inner radius is A, outer radius is B. Where we are going to connect a cell. This is a calculate the resistance offered by the conductor. A potential diff is applied across two rectangular faces. So here is what I'm going to connect a cell. Some rough diagram. Some you can take this one. So what will happen to this current? Current has to take a path like this. The current has to take a path like this. Okay, try to analyze. So what is the elemental structure you should assume? What is the rule to assume elemental structure? The elemental structure should be assumed in such a way that its area should be oriented normal to the current density. I think there's a rule, no? What is the current density? Current per unit area. The elemental structure should be assumed in such a way that the area of cross section of it should be directed normal to the flow of current. Then I'll start with a strip. The one of the strip I'll take it. This is H. Here I'll assume a thing this one. So let this be at a distance from the dx. So how the current here will be normal. The current density will be perpendicular to this region. So there's a current density. This elemental strip is what we have assumed it. What is that particular elemental strip will come? How to show that? Yeah. Has become bigger. What is the length of this blue color strip? Length. So what is the length? Length will be this much, no? So what is the radius of this? Will be pi x. Will be select x will be the radius of this. And this is what the dx. Pi x will become radius of that particular strip. Or I'll show the top view. The top view will be this much. Able to understand, no? So this is what the dx. Let's define the resistance of this semicircular strip. dr should be equal to density is rho, area should be h dx, length is what? Pi x. Like that, different strips will get of different radii. I can assume one more strip. So like this, I can bring one more strip. So one more strip. So like this, if I add up all those strips, and what's happened to current? Current will branch into those strips. No, I'll like this. Can we keep on add strips? So what's happening to their? Like this, you can add many elements. You can bring it. So this will be the final. So this will be the A. This will be B, and what we assumed is something X. I think I'm giving over explanation. I feel. Okay, see no. So what is the current in all the branches will be different. So here, if you say current, I3. So how all those strips are, they're parallel, no? So therefore, what shall I add the resistance of all this? I should there in parallel resistance of this. The effective resistance is what? Rho L by A. Okay, okay. This is pi X by, yeah. This one, fine. So the effective effective resistance. So after this, okay, this is the mathematics. So therefore, the total resistance should be integral of 1 by dr. 1 by r is equal to rho pi h dx by x. What should be the limit? A to b. H by rho pi. Yeah? So what is the total resistance? Rho pi h log of objective questions are very important. Finding out resistance of different shape structure like this, you can get half cylindrical pipe. So many half cone, some mass will be involved. Be alert. If I'm talking about the advanced exam, mains I think should not be after. You don't get time to analyze thing within 2 minutes, no? So it's for only advanced such questions. So different structures are there. Just have a look on them. These are some boundary conditions. Only if you see in IRDO, no, we do have problems, but most of the books, we avoid such a discussion because we have to enter into theory of conductors. So just a small idea, let me share. This is one conductor. This is another conductor. So when you join two wires, so it happens for us like in lab, no? Sometimes a given wire will not be of sufficient length. So what is the alternative for us? We will go for two of so one iron and other copper. I'll join them and then I'll make a connection. So then here current I, which is flowing, the same current I, it has to flow. So if you see the practical, suppose that this is a cell. And these are the two wires, no? So can you join them? So this iron, copper, white. So we'll get a junction here. So there what happened is asking, assuming the current density to be uniform throughout the cross section, calculate Q. So what current flows, if you connect ammeter here, what current flows here, the same current has to emerge through this. So therefore the current in both the regions have to be same. So the resistivity of them here, these are called like a boundary. This is called like a boundary. So current is same area of cross section. So what should be the current density? Has to be same. Okay, this is a given diagram. Okay, we'll take the. I think something we have to take help of the formulas, the basic formula. So what do you expect if area of cross section is same? Take like this. I think that this will be better idea for you know. Look at the area of cross section of the wires. This is A, this is A. So what do you expect current density? It has to be same. And how we define the electric field inside it. This will be E1. This will be 2. Why different electric field? So we know J is equal to E1 by rho 1 in the first region. In the second region, E2 by rho 2. So in the current density, J1, J2 better right. So I'll J1 equal to J2 equal to J, which is I by A. So equating these two, E1 by rho 1 equal to E2 by rho 2. Not density, the resistivities. Rho means here the resistivities. So look at the field here. So suppose say here field is E2, E1. Go back to electrostatics. So let me assume here a surface, thin surface, actually boundary. This will be like a, I'll assume a surface here. That boundary only, let me bring it here. So there's a boundary, no? No, okay. Get this boundary, no? So this is that boundary. So this having a surface. So here we are having electric field E2 and this is E1 and let A be the area. I think I'm giving better picture, no? Let A be the area. Can you say anything about flux? If E1 equal to E2, what flux entered, that much of flux has left, no? You have to recollect some ideas of the electrostatics here. How many lines of force will enter? Those many will leave. Net flux through the surface. Through the surface, I'm not net flux through. There are two surfaces there. Surface 1, surface 2. Will I agree? How many 10 lines will enter? 10 lines will leave. Net flux is 0. But here E1, E2 are different. A is same. So flux linking the left surface and right surface are different. So what is the net flux through the surface or through the strip? Better you can call, or through the disk. Whatever if you want, you can call it. There's a boundary. Net flux through the boundary. E1A minus E2A. Now what is E2? E2 should be rho 2 E1 by rho 1A minus E1A. E1A I'll take outside. Okay, there's a net flux. So then there's a net flux through the boundary. So net flux is non-zero. So that should be equal to charge enclosed by this one. So this equation Q by epsilon naught. Okay, I got this one. But E1 is what we assumed it, no? What are given thing for us? Current I and rho 1. How to eliminate E1? So go back to, so what is J1? You can write I by A. So in place of E1A, what you can write it as? I rho 1. So Q by epsilon naught. E1A should be equal to I rho 1, rho 2 by rho 1, this one. So what is the charge enclosed? This should be equal to I epsilon naught. Now, where do this charge should be deposited? It should be here. So if you want, I had to show the charge like this. These are the boundary conditions. So that's why in a lab, no, we'll never go for using more than wires of different material. Like this accumulation of charge will occur at the junction. Okay, at our level, only we have found out charge. At most of the equipments, no, that particular charge should not be deposited inside the equipment. Any reason? Like that particular charge, it's a static charge here. That one. When you switch off equipment, so what that static charge? It has to flow, no. So even when you switch off the circuit, this current I will become 0. Then the static charges, what will happen? It will flow to the earth. Then what happens? That is called like a transient currents. Go back to RC, RL, RLC. So there we saw like some like a static charges or some residual energy stored in the circuit will flow. That is what this one here. Very dangerous. Huh? They own these things only will damage equipment. Where do this will occur? In television, mobile, laptop, everywhere. This particular deposition of charges will occur at the boundaries. So minimum number of boundaries have to be there. It's very dangerous. More boundaries are there, definitely the lifespan of equipment will come down. It is having so much of sequences here. The designing has to be done such a way that the boundaries should be minimized. That's what is telling. At our level, just it's a numerical, but electrical, electronic equipment, there's a very serious problem. Okay, some read question. I think I had to give some time because you have to understand the situations given. I'll have water. All of you read. Okay, now analyze it. Initially, the resistor and that particular galvanometer will be horizontal. Initial position is splitting. At any instant of time, this is a condition. Okay, not needed. Let's take this. This is at any time t. T equals 0, it is here. After some time t, it is available here. So this will make some angle. Theta. Okay, A, B, these are things. So let me take this point as X. So let's draw at any instant of time, there's a condition. No? This thing, I think this omega, so some of you are getting confusion with omega. I'll replace that omega. You think this is not a connection. Huh? Some other color, not more. Okay, I just later on. Okay, time being, that is, so what is omega? Omega will be this much. This is omega. Fine. And what is omega? D theta by time. This will help us a lot. Oh, no, are you seeing any circuit? Yes, definitely some Wishstone network is there. We'll try to draw the Wishstone network. So there's a point D. There's a point B. This is A. And this is X. And we have a cell here connected from A to B. A to D and A to X, we have resistor and there's a galvanometer. D to A to X, A to D, D to X, then B to X, A to B1 resistor, DX one resistor, and BX one resistor. We know DA is 200 ohm. AB is 100 ohm. We have to calculate the resistance, this one. So for that, this is theta. What is the side length? Square frame of side length, let it be L. So can we write now L tan theta? This will be L minus L tan theta. So this will be L tan theta. This length will be so from Wishstone network condition. So RDA RAB by RAD, RAB by or RDA. Okay, RDA by RAB should be equal to RDX by RBX.
$74.
Yeah. Okay, there's a thing. So this we know RDA is how much? 200. So this will be 200. RAB is 100. RDX we have to, so RDC value we know it. RDC plus L minus resistance of that one. What is the resistance per unit length of BC is how much? Resistance of BC is how much? 400, no? 400 by L into L minus L tan theta. This is RDX. RBX will be 400 by L tan theta. Solving this, we'll get the RDC value.
RDC is
Fine.
given, sir. We'll get the
Given,
value
given.
of theta.
Yeah, 500. So from this, we'll get an expression for tan theta. Anybody value tan
3
theta?
by 4.
3 by 4.
Okay, I think problem is solved. 37 degrees. Then what is the omega? Omega given pi by 60. So this, it will rotate with uniform velocity, no? So pi by 360. This should be equal to pi by, I'll bring like this. This is theta by time. So we know value of omega, pi by 360. Theta is in this in radian, no? So pi by 180 into 37 into 1 by t. Solving this, we'll get expression for t.
74 seconds.
Some geometry based. I think you have some problem where a rod will be rotating on an arc. So different set of questions will come. Be alert. It's not telling which bulb will have maximum brightness. The bulb which is having maximum brightness, its power is asking. The power dependent bulb which glow brightest is given by P watt. Find the value of 2 by 3 root P. So it's a very clear bulbs are, so you do one thing, this EMF is given. They're given the ratings of the bulb. So from the ratings of the bulb, 100 watt equal to 200 square by R. What is the resistance of each bulb? 400 ohm. Okay, it's a simple series parallel only, nothing to do. Say if you find very difficult, sir, what to do with the bulb? In place of bulb, put resistance R, then solve the problem. Because the moment bulb comes, we'll start thinking, okay, some concept is there. Where all bulb is there, you have to replace with a resistance. What is the resistance of the bulb? We have calculated. Any question? The only best approach available for the bulbs. I think in fact E, F, G, they are parallel. No? Need not to draw. Okay, just make it problem very simple. It will be much easier. Even this also. So if you the circuit is like this. So this is 200 volt. So this will be R. First, what is the best thing is calculate the current here. Call IA, IB. Then go for the branch current method. So once you can calculate IA, IB, it'll be much easier for you. Or potential drop, any of the thing, it's your convenient. I think this R by 2, this R is there. So use potential divider formula and get the potential. From potential, you can calculate the power dissipation. Power dissipation in that case, what happened? Potential drop V square by R. I think calculation of currents will be a little bit lengthy. Instead, potential drops can be easily calculated. And this R by 2 and R. So the drop across this will be, we'll use V1, V2, V3, V4. I think if you can calculate V1, the other thing can be obtained. So V1 is equal to 200 by R by R by 2 plus R. (400 by 3 volt). 400 by 3 volt it is. So then V2 should be equal to 200 by 3. Then similarly, V3 is equal to 200 into R by 3 plus R. (600 by 4), or this will be 150. V4 will be 50 volt. All are having same resistance. 400 by 3, will it be greater than 150?
Oh, sure.
No, it will be less, no? 200 by 3 is also. So I think only this bulb is having maximum power. Maximum power. So he's asking that, all directly we know it. So what is this maximum power now? This should be P max is equal to V3 square by R. Value of R we know. So substituting this, we get the required answer. Now V3 150 square by 400. Anybody answer?
225 by 4. 225 by 4.
225 by 4.
56.25.
Okay, there's a P value of P.
Answer will be 5, sir.
Answer will be 5.
This is the value of P, but he told to fill it in another form.
Fill it in another form. Possible, we can convert 2 by 3 would be, yeah. So I think you can't just say that it's all about the students, no? Like some students, what happened, they'll find out the total resistance, they'll find out current here, then branch current, then again individual current. Definitely, it will kill your time. The approach has to be simplified way. The always what happened, branch current, potential divider. So these ideas has to be taken into picture because they'll save time. There's only thing. Let's take the next one. Yeah, there's the one. It's there in assignment. Best question. First, get the idea of what is that efficiency. Okay, first we'll have some efficiency idea. Then it'll be easy for us to analyze this problem. Well, I'll discuss the theory, small theoretical part. So this is a cell, E, internal resistance R, and this one. So what is the external circuit? This is external circuit. And this everything is a cell. There's a basic idea. This one. Now, what is the duty of cell? It should generate power, no? And what is this external circuit? It can be bulb or heater coil or any other thing. This will external circuit will consume power, will dissipate power. What is the duty of cell? It should generate power, electrical power. So then a current I, let a current I flow, plus minus, plus minus. So what is the expression for current I? I equal to E by R plus R. Power generated by cell should be E into I. So E square R plus R. Power delivered to external circuit. This is the power generated. This is a power okay, fine. Now power delivered to external circuit. Electrical power only. We are talking electrical power. So that should be PR. This should be I square R. So if I solve this, so this I'll end up with E square Now, what do you mean by efficiency? The power delivered to the power generated. This you can say power generated by a cell. Like this we define. So I'll bring the efficiency term. This is, you can say, output power. This is what, like a input power. What do you mean input? The rate at which chemical energy converted into electrical energy. This is called like a input. So how you define input power? The rate at which chemical energy or any other source get converted into mechanical. Let's talk about chemical energy only better here. The rate at which chemical energy gets converted into electrical energy, that is what the input. So who is input for cell? The chemical solution, the electrolysis, the electrolysis phenomena is what like like a source of energy for the cell. So therefore, so that will call as input here. So the efficiency should be, I think, P out by P in. P out, what we have is E square R by R plus R whole square by, this will be E square. So the efficiency will turn up to be R plus R. I think better do remember formula. So this is something really very useful for you. What is the efficiency of a cell means? It should be this one. Okay, let's get into now. First, like a non-ideal cell with EMF antenna is connected with an external resistance. The efficiency in energy transfer by cell to external resistor is 1/3. Next, after this, unknown resistance X is connected in parallel. Okay. Yeah, this is the thing. No? So what will happen to efficiency of a cell in this case? In the first case, directly the formula. You can see no 1 eta 1. Okay, there's a eta is telling 1 plus R by R. Eta we know 1/3. Second case. What is this effective R? What is effective R? R dash, you write it. So what is R dash? I think solving this will get the
X equal to 2R by 3.
this eta dash something will make symbol. It'll be easy for you. So find the ratio of 3x by R is asking.
2.
X equal to how much?
2R by 3.
Yeah. Able to understand. So these conditions are very important. Please do follow some numericals of these kind. General routine, you know, KCL, KVL, that efficiency of a cell means what? These ideas should be, clarity should be there. A real troublesome question. Read it. In order to determine the EMF of a storage battery, it was connected in series with a standard cell in a certain circuit, and a current I1 was obtained. When the battery is connected to the same circuit opposite to standard cell, a current I2 flows in external circuit from the positive pole of the storage battery. Positive pole of storage battery was obtained. What is the EMF E1 of the storage battery? The EMF of the standard cell is E2. Draw the diagram, you'll get answer. So first situation, what he says is like storage cell. What about, is not saying anything about internal resistance. Are they ideal? If they're ideal, what will be the current? Infinity, no? Not possible. So they must have resistance. And initially, so both will be or no, sir, I'll assume them to be ideal and I'll bring one external resistance. It's left to you. So here now a current I1 will flow. So what is I1? Next again. And he has put a condition. This current will flow like this, which is a storage, there's a storage cell. Sorry, there's a standard cell.
It will be storage, sir.
And this will be, sorry, storage. No, it's telling. EMF E1 of the storage battery. And this will be storage. The EMF of standard cell is E2. Okay, I'll change the diagram a little bit because a standard cell should not be disturbed. We'll change polarity of this. Okay, no. So the polarity of that will be this. So standard cell will keep it. No, I think it's only equation. I2 will be dividing these two. So I1 by I2 is equal to solving for E1. So E1, I1, E2, I1, E1, E1, I2 minus E2, I2.
Sir, it is E1 plus E2, sir, in the numerator.
Here plus will be there then. We have to. So this should be even terms. I should bring it. So this will be I1 minus I2. E2 should be equal to. We'll pick up this option. There's a method in lab. There's a method. Say these are the other. Usually we take potentiometer. No, that one. Even there's also method. Probably that currents emitter I should measure properly. Okay, there's one good question there. We'll first wind up this one here. So these are these cells. So first I'll connect them. So it is connected across the point 1 and 2, that one. So here, so let's take a bad cell here now. The connection is made. Resistance of all the things is R. So definitely a current I will flow. This I, it will branch out. So what to do with this R? I think that this R can be removed, no, here. No current flows through this resistor. If I remove that R, okay, this is point 1, 2, 3, and 4. So one thing I'm very sure is what? V3 equal to V4 from V2 network. Then if I remove this, yeah. So then what is the 2R parallel total effective resistance? What the cell will see is only will be R. How much water can be generated? So here this is, so let there be current. What it flows, let it be I. Let me take I1. So what is the power generated now? Will be P1 equal to E into I1. And this particular power is utilized to boil the water for certain time, that one. So what is the heat needed? H1 is equal to P1 into there's a time taken, let it be T, that one. So this will be E into I1 into T. I1 is what? E by R. And what is this H1? H1 should be equal to 500 grams of water mass into space. Or just leave this much only time being. Let's come for second situation. Second situation, I'm going to connect the cell across 1 and 3. Then what is it? Current, the same cell. So let the current flowing through the this, let it be I2. And then how you do? Series parallel, this is 2R. 2R parallel to R will be 2R by 3. 2R by 3 plus R. 5R by 3. 5R by 3 parallel to R. Somebody should give value.
by 8.
How much?
By 8 R.
5R by 8.
5R by 8. Yeah. So then what is the power? Power equal to E into I2 E by 5R by 8 or 8 E square. This is, I think, one more step will write it. No, 8 E square by 5R. This is a P2. So then what is H2? H2 should be equal to P2 into T. So this will be same time he has put a condition. So what is H1? Now let's get into H1. H1 is what? He has given 500 grams, no? So eat in calorimetry, ms delta T. So 500 into specific heat of water for the same temperature difference should be equal to how much? H1. Then what amount of water, specific heat delta T should be H2. So here we'll calculate H1 by H2 or H2 by H1. H2 by H1 will be 8 by 5. So M by 500 equal to H2 by H1. 800 grams is needed. Some interlinking things. So the moment actually, when you start reading this 500 grams or whatever, we'll start thinking some concept. So nothing to do. This about current density, bring that idea of heat generated. This everything is immersed. This heater coil, everything is immersed. And just be careful, some mixed ideas. What is their current density? Have clarity of current density idea. How that heat generated in current density network will be utilized in the heat and thermodynamics or in calorimetry or to melt ice or for radiation. We have next some problem with left it now. All completed. Yeah. And what should be the value of the bulb is available. There's a resistance R. I think already I discussed. Once again, let me revise it. It's a simple series parallel only. There's a bulb. What is the resistance of the bulb? We don't know. Can we calculate? 0.5 is equal to 3 square by RB. So RB is equal to 990 by 5. 18 ohm. So we know the resistance of the bulb, 18 ohm, and this is 4 ohm. And can we calculate the current? Let me call this current I1 and I2. So what is I1 now? So we know I1 should be equal to V by R, 3 by 18, 1 by 6 ampere. What should be the value of R is asking? So that the electric bulb consumes that rated power. If you know main sub-branch current, can you predict the main branch current? I and R both are unknown. We have this drop because they're parallel, no? 3 volt is there. So this 3 volt, what you should write? 6 by effective resistance R into RB by R plus RB by sum of the total resistance 4 ohm 0.5. From where this voltage divider formula. This together bulb and this resistance are there in parallel and that will come in series. So we know the drop here. This 3 volt, what it should be equal to? Applied EMF, sum of these two. Applied EMF, the resistance of the effective resistance of this, or else see what we did is 4.5 ohm, call this R dash, take this 6 ohm like this. For your understanding purpose, I'm bringing it. So now what we are very sure this drop is 3 volt. What is R dash? R dash is R into RB by R plus RB. See, no? I think your answer will be like this only, your equations. What is the only unknown thing? R is unknown thing. I think can be solvable. Or write KVL. Potential dividers are unable to get this idea. Write KVL. So write one loop equation. You'll get I. After getting I, you get I2. So another approach. Say the circuit, there's no any rule that it should be like this only. The student one which he feels convenient. So now take the polarity plus minus plus minus. Apply KVL. So 6 volt minus 4I minus this will be I. You need not to do anything. Right minus 3 minus 0.5 I is equal to 0. You'll get expression for I. After getting I, then you know I1. So what is I is equal to? I1 plus I2. You'll get I2. After getting I2, 3 should be equal to I2 into R. I think this will be still more easier. Still more easier. So that's why in exams, no, you should be ready with different approaches. Can I use this? Okay, can I apply this? Can we think that? So that's why when you're doing numericals only, you go through all the conditions: series, parallel, KCL, KVL, branch current, nodal analysis, V-Stone network. All these are methods are there. So can I solve by this method? Can I solve this? Better analyze, no, so that confidence will come. You have to recollect all the content, the methods rather than something, no, the methods and somewhere the important formulas, all that you recollect and go exam with a confidence like, okay, I know most of the things. And definitely thinking ability is needed. It's not that something, okay, that one. So when you have you practice many numericals to analyze it, so that they will help you a lot to think in exam. Post office box is what you revise once on your own. Just only theory, no. If I open it also, it will take 2 hours. That's why I didn't touch it. Post office box and variation of resistance with the temperature. Only one problem we did. I think these are the other 2 things which you can go through once. They'll be sufficient. And also the meter bridge with end corrections formula is there. Okay, please do remember that also, because anything comes, it will be advantage for you. Somewhere in the corner, things and galvanometer half deflection method. The moment I think you're running galvanometer, even that can also be asked, no? So all small corner things also you just focus. I know some ideas like, suppose if you have galvanometer, so even so this will be very confusion for students. It is okay. Then I'll solve this. Okay, first let me come for this one. No, see, we have a galvanometer. 0, okay, say 10 milliampere, and it's having say somewhere around 20 ohms. Fine. This will be. Now, what is the how can I connect more resistors? Means like a not only series, only parallel, or we can also do a connection like this. Then I can use this for as a voltmeter. It is possible, huh? Of course, of no use, but it's possible. We can manage like this also. Connecting R1 across this. So even this also voltmeter is, because what we have is voltmeter resistor connected in series. Okay, I can bring like this also, that one. Even this also will work as voltmeter. And even for emitter, there's a voltmeter. You can have a situation of like this. Even for emitter, this will be R1, this will be R2. That's the same condition. There's milliampere I'm showing. So there's a maximum current what it can measure here. Fine. So even this can be emitter. There's no rule that only R1, only resistance should be in parallel. Even you may get a resistor in series also like this, even in case of emitter. So what they do is they'll give ratio of R1 by R2, they'll give range, they'll ask you to work out. So here what's be the, how the basic formulas will be. Vm should be equal to Ig into R1 G by R1 plus there's a formula. So what will be given for you? They'll give Vm, high G and capital G. There's a range they'll give. They'll give R1 by R2 some ratio. And this one more equation you have. So two equations to unknown you can solve. There's a modified voltmeters also used in applications of this kind. Books not discussed, they're possible. Similarly, what is the expression for Imax? So here we'll assume Ig will flow Imax minus Ig. So this Imax should be equal to sorry, they're parallel, no? So we'll apply the Imax minus Ig into R1 is equal to Ig into G plus R2. Here also I'll give the ratio of R1 by R2. From that, like and I'll give Imax, then I'll get the other thing. So these are the ideas. I'm just sharing it. It can be like this also to trouble you, because usually emitter means we never think that okay there should not be any resistor. Voltmeter means there should not be any R1 parallel to this, but it can happen. Fine. Okay, we'll wind up the class. Yeah. Thank you. Any doubts? I'll wait it. We can clarify.